Today, I'm going to tell you a story, a real story. I'm going to change the names of the people that were involved, but everything else that I tell you is going to be really what happened. This was a listing of mine, a deal that should have been super simple. We priced it right. The buyer that made the offer was qualified. Everything was moving right along. And then it almost completely fell apart. The story that I'm going to share is how we actually saved the deal and a lesson that every seller should hear. I'm Rebecca Nadelka, your realtor mom with eXp Realty. So here's the situation. I had a seller, let's call her Sharon for today. She had lived in her house for at least 10 years, so well maintained, so well kept. She raised her family there. She loved her house. She took care of it, but she was getting ready to retire. Her kids were grown, moved out, and she was moving to Florida. So she was actually referred to me by a friend and asked me to help her sell her house. So I went over, met with her, and she was willing to do whatever she needed to do to get the most value for her house. So we looked at everything, priced it right. She was shocked. When she first met with me, she said, "Well, what do you think? Do you think I can at least sell it for 250?" And I looked at her and I'm like, 250? Are you crazy? We can get at least 325. She says, "Oh, okay. Well, that would be great." So we went through the process on little things that she can do. There was a couple things with her, like packing and getting a couple rooms cleared out. She had brought in a lot of stuff down because she was trying to downsize, get rid of things. So in the living room, which was the main area of the house, she had boxes. So we figured where she was going to store those. One of the things that I feel is a big thing in a house is knobs and handles on cabinets. No problem. I will get knobs and I'll have them installed. She did all that. She took care of all the little things that would make a bigger difference. Perfect seller, my ideal seller. So once we were ready, she had gotten all the little things done. She even hired my daughter's boyfriend to take care of a couple things outside just to kind of clean it up a little bit and make it the curb appeal. Those few little things to get done. So we're ready to list. I brought in my professional photographer, did drone footage, did a video walkthrough, all the things. I listed it on Wednesday and had an open house scheduled for the weekend. But Thursday, we received an offer that was $25,000 over list, but we had to decide that evening, which meant we would be canceling the open house. So the buyers loved the house. They wanted to submit a solid offer. When I called my seller to tell her about this offer that we had received, she literally started crying. So remember, we listed at 325. We had an offer for 350. She was hoping for 250. She was ecstatic. Of course, she wants to accept the offer. They had an inspection contingency. Not a problem. She's done everything she could to maintain the property. She prepped it well. It was a conventional loan. It was going to close in the right amount of time for her to be able to move to Florida, give her job notice, all the things. It was like the perfect scenario. Sharon was super happy. I was happy. This is like your ideal situation for a seller. List it, offer day 2, overlist, perfect. Couldn't be happier. The inspection came. The inspector found something in the basement, which realistically, we knew, we had it on our property disclosure. There was previous water damage in the basement. While we were prepping the house, we found the issue. She didn't try to hide it, fully disclosed it on her residential property disclosure, and she fixed it while we were prepping the house. But for some reason, it sent the buyer into like, oh my God, the inspector said that there was previous water damage. There was the white efflorescence on the wall, that like crummy little white speckly stuff. Wasn't currently wet, just the signs that at one point the wall was wet. There was no moisture, in the water. I mean, they have their little meter reading thing that tells you what the percentage of moisture is. Totally dry, no problems. There was no standing water on the floor, but the inspector said that there was previously water in the basement. So Sharon knew about it. We had just fixed, we had, in prepping the home, she had removed, there were some bigger trees that were super close to the foundation. And we found that they were pushing into the foundation of the home, causing it to like have a crack and water coming in. So she had a landscaper that I knew come remove all the trees that were too big to be by the house, did nice landscaping to get it fixed, had the inside sealed, the cracks all filled, and we had had a major rainfall. No water came in this time. So she knew that what was done had been good. She had a concrete guy come in and seal everything on the inside, make sure that everything was repaired properly. So the buyer, though, was a first time home buyer. The inspector says that there's water. It's on the disclosure, but when an inspector says it, it means that it's like, oh, water in the basement. So she was, being a first time home buyer, nervous. She's got other family members, parents, whatever, in her ear about you can't buy a house with water damage. Literally listening to everybody except her agent. She was freaking out. Her parents got involved. They had, I think it was her uncle or cousin, whoever was involved in construction, came, they were involved. And suddenly we've got a dry basement that already had the issue addressed, now causing a problem. And the family says it's got major water damage. So their agent sends over their ROC, which is the removal of contingencies, and has all these items that they want to be done to move forward in the transaction. So they want us to waterproof the basement. They want an I don't know, it was a pretty big credit for future potential things that could go wrong with the water in the basement. They want a structural engineer to come evaluate. They want extra time. They want all these things to kind of figure out what they're going to do. So, I'm share this with Sharon, and now she's a little bit stressed, kind of in tears, thinking she's planning her move. She's given her job the notice, and now these people are kind of panicking and freaking out. So, in her mind, maybe I'm never going to move to Florida. It was a nightmare. So, how did we save this deal? First thing is I told Sharon not to stress. Don't worry about it. We're going to get through this. We know that you fixed the problem. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go through their list of requests. Really, aside from this crazy credit, everything else was super minor. And so I said, tell them we'll address these few things. There was a couple electrical outlets, if I remember correctly, and they wanted a broken light fixture on the back side of the fence removed. So fine, we can do those things. We're not going to lose this deal, not yet. We are going to work through this issue in the basement that really wasn't an issue. Most agents are either going to cave and give them this $8,000-9,000 credit, or they're going to get super defensive and kill the deal because now they're mad because they know that their seller did everything she was supposed to do, and they're going to fight this other agent to not do anything. Realistically, both of those are wrong. Neither one of those are the right answer. Caving is going to cost my seller $8,000 or $9,000, and getting defensive and attitudey and whatever is probably going to kill the deal over an issue that's super solvable. So what did we do? I had Sharon pull all of the receipts, the scope of what was done with the contractor that the landscaper first that took out all the trees. We had all of the receipts and everything for that. Then we had the concrete repair guy, all his receipts and what he did. And we showed that everything was protected and there was a warranty for it. So in order to transfer that warranty along, it was going to cost I think the transfer fee was like $150, $200. So, how about we offer the buyers that we'll pay to have that warranty transfer to them? They're going to be covered because the work was done. We're not getting defensive. We're not paying $8,000, $9,000. We're going to pay like $200. Problem solved. So when we passed that warranty, it gave the buyer the remaining 5 years. That was a 5-year warranty. It gave them the remaining time. She had just had it done. So they have like 4 years and 10 months remaining on the warranty. And then I called the buyer's agent and let her know that, look, we're trying to work through all this. My seller's going to take care of these few minor repairs. And then to address the water issue in the basement, know that we fixed it and we have all the documentation from the contractors that did the work. I also called the company and we're going to have the seller pay to have that warranty transferred over to your buyers. So we're not going to give them a credit for what might happen in the future, but we will give them the warranty that allows them to be covered. And they're going to see that there's no damage, there's no more water intrusion. We've had some major rains. And honestly, this seller is great and really trying to do everything she can and wants to keep this together. So let's put our heads together and make this happen. Can you explain that to your buyers? That my seller really does want to, have them as buyers have peace of mind that this is what she's going to do. So I wasn't mean in telling them that we're not going to give them an $8,000, $9,000 credit. I wasn't aggressive about it. I was just kind of a matter of fact. And look, my seller's really trying to do the right thing here. So I presented the facts professionally. I'm a professional. She's a professional. Our job as agents is to get that transaction to the closing table, working through whatever issues that we can. Doesn't have to be defensive, doesn't have to be mean, doesn't have to be snotty. Facts. Here's what we have, here's a solution. So it was resolved because the buyer's agent went back and talked to the buyers, showed them that we had documentation for the repairs, explained that the seller's willing to pay to have the warranty transferred over, and that deal moved forward. Guess what? That deal closed on time with a very happy buyer and a emotionally happy seller. So the aftermath. Once we got to the closing table, Sharon called me literally in tears, so excited, knowing that I did everything I could to protect her best interests, got her more money, $100,000 more than she even hoped for. She was beyond excited. But my job as her agent is to get her the most amount of money that I can by pricing it appropriately in the market. And yes, it just so happened that she didn't know what the market was. And I was happy for her to not have crazy expectations because most sellers think their house is worth way more than it is. Fortunately, her house really was worth way more than she thought it was. But if she had hired an agent that didn't know what to do or didn't know how to negotiate through repairs with a level head, solving the problem, negotiating through it, she might have had a house that was back on the market. I didn't panic. I wasn't going to cave, and I wasn't going to let the seller feel the stress of that inspection. That's not me bragging that I'm the best agent, because to be real, we know I am, but it's me telling you that when you choose an agent, it really does matter. Having someone that's going to have your back as a seller and be able to provide solutions to keep that process, as I say, simple, smooth to sold, because that's what you've hired me for. That's what I'm earning my commission for. Let me handle those difficult conversations with the other agent, explain to the buyers what we're going to do, and ultimately get that process done in the most economical way possible for real dollars and cents. So what's the lesson in this story? Here's what I want you to take away. Inspections are not the end of the world. Issues come up every single time. It's how you handle them that's gonna decide if the deal moves forward or falls apart. 2, Documentation, having documentation of the repairs that you've done, whether it was just now or a year ago or 5 years ago, that's going to save deals. Having work done on your house and having the receipts and proof that things were done, in this case, save the deal. Keep your warranties. The paperwork for your improvements is worth its weight in gold. If an inspector finds something and you can show documentation of what was done, it's going to help solve that issue. 3, your agent's job is not just to list your house, it is to solve problems that we didn't know would come up. It's to negotiate your inspection, your repairs, while everyone's emotions are running high. It's finding those creative solutions that are going to get that transaction to the closing table. 4, first-time homebuyers definitely get scared. It's okay. It doesn't mean that the deal's going to fall apart. It just means that the agents have to work together to come to an acceptable solution for everybody. Calm, professional conversations. That's what we're here for. Most deals survive inspections. Sure, sometimes there's just really major things that are wrong, and the right answer is to walk away. But your agent should be able to give you honest opinion on what those situations might be. Most deals, like I said, get to the closing table. The difference between a deal that survives and a deal that falls apart is less likely to be the house. It's more likely to be the wrong strategy and negotiation, getting defensive, and not knowing how to work together to come to resolution. So, how your agent handles things is truly the key in keeping your deals together. The story that I gave you with Sharon is a real story. I have tons of stories just like this. Deals that should have died but didn't because we were able to negotiate through. My job as your agent is to make sure that I have your best interest as my client at the forefront of what I'm doing. I stay calm, keep it creative, and just focus on getting to the end result, which is the closing. If you're thinking about selling and you want someone that can handle pretty much any situation, if it's happened in real estate, I almost feel like I've seen it because, like I said, the stories that I can share are crazy. It's not just handling the easy stuff. It's not handling only the hard stuff. It's handling everything within the transaction and keeping the problems on my plate, not my sellers. Next week, I'm going to go there. I'm going to tell you exactly how to find the right realtor and the red flags that should make you run. I'm going to be honest, might be a little bit uncomfortable for some, but it's what your realtor mom does. That's me, Rebecca Nadelka with eXp Realty. I am your realtor mom. If you have questions, DM me on Instagram. Otherwise, I'll see you next week.